the illegal alien working illegally in the hot sun, picking your food, and you're at home complaining you don't have no work. Come take it. Right, Danny? Come take it. He invites you to come take his job, but you won't.
Find Americans to do it out in California. Our own Charlie Duff tried and saw firsthand how tough it really is. Welcome back to Let It Rip. With us right now is the award-winning reporter who traveled to California for a first-hand look at the immigration issue and the truth about what's really going on in the fields. Charlie Duff is here. Next to him, Adonis Flores. He was brought to this country illegally as a minor, but thanks to the DREAM Act and the executive action of President Barack Obama, he is now a full American citizen and also an immigration activist. But Oakland County Commissioner Jim Runstead says the system is broken and needs to be replaced. He helped to implement the E-Verify program in Oakland County to keep companies from hiring illegal immigrants. He's also got concerns about illegal immigration as well. And of course, we all know Charlie. We don't know how he got here or who let him in, but here he is. Charlie, you know, that report was both funny, sad, and scary. I don't know how many of us on this panel would be willing to pick grapes for $9 an hour.
Yeah, well, it's nothing new to me because I've worked in a slaughterhouse in the year 2000, and it was mostly Latino, mostly illegal, working fake Social Security cards. I've worked in a fish factory in Alaska, the same deal. This is nothing new. The reason I wanted to do that is an election's coming up. This thing's off the table. 10 weeks ago, it was all in the news, right? And there is legislation in Washington that could take care of some of it, but in this country it's either all or nothing. Like, I think we can all agree that when someone is protecting and growing and picking the food source, they're important to us. We could give them what's called a blue card now, which is you've been here for 2 years, you've been working, you've been paying taxes. Blue card, you can work in the field for 5 years, and then after 5 years you can get the green card, which is you can go look for any kind of work you want. That district that I was picking in, that's the House Majority Leader's district, the Republican. He's sitting on the legislation, not letting it come for a vote, knowing it's all a game, because the big people that donate to his campaigns want the blue card. So it's a clown show in this country.
And those workers get $9 an hour, but no benefits, no insurance, no health care.
By federal law, farm workers are not entitled to overtime. Just not entitled to overtime. So this is where we're at. This is a game that works for everybody.
Adonis, how did you come to this country?
Well, Hugh, thank you for inviting me to your show today. First, I want to make a quick correction. I'm not a full U.S. citizen. That is a misconception. Students like myself that are getting a work permit through the DACA program are actually only able to give the DACA permit for 2 years, and it has to be renewed. It's a temporary fix. It's not a permanent fix to this problem.
But you certainly hope to become an American citizen.
Yeah, I definitely do hope one day. My grandmother became a U.S. citizen 2 years ago, and I'm very proud of her.
Congratulations.
I came in 1998 when I was 8 years old. Right now I'm a student at Wayne State University at the College of Business Administration and a member of Michigan United. And the reason why or students like myself are involved in this is because we've realized that so far there's a lot of emphasis on enforcement, securing the border, and nothing is happening for the families that have been here for many decades, like myself and my family, families that have mixed status, like
But
myself.
some people say, but you got here the wrong way. You broke a law to come into this country.
You know, Hugh, this is a nation of laws, and we agree that we have to make sure that there's laws to protect our borders. And part of the immigration reform is addressing the issue that our system, immigration system has not changed since the 80s. So we've outdated.
Which is the last time Reagan gave millions of people amnesty. That was the change. It wasn't like we changed anything.
Yeah,
and everybody kept coming. In fact, the DACA program, which is allowing undocumented kids to stay, is one of the reasons, the DREAM Act, which is why all the kids and the mothers are coming over in Texas right now. So there's not a chance in hell that the part you want fixed is going to be fixed. Part of my story was there's 1 million out of 11 that work hard, been here, feed us. We absolutely need them. Why can't they be first?
Well, Jim, how would you answer that question when you see a young man like Adonis Flores?
You know, Adonis sounds like a great guy. You don't make a policy on the basis of one individual. I found the show, you know, the B-roll show very ingenuous. I was born on a farm. And I heard these guys, no, none of us would do that kind of work. That's an elitist approach. I've done jobs way worse than that on the farm. My son was putting up gutters right out of high school with 6 other guys. They told the guys after 6 months, sit under a tree. We don't need you anymore. We're replacing you with the illegal workers. That's what our competitors are doing. So this comment that no one will do this work, for elites, yeah, people in the top of the scale, sure. I mean, they won't do that kind of work. All the neighborhood kids came to our farm and did that kind of work. So I did that kind of work. All the kids did that kind of work. Why aren't people doing it now? Because wages are being massacred for the middle class and the working class, a lot of it with illegal labor. We need to have a whole discussion about what do the American people want with an immigration policy.
Would your solution be to shut down the borders, to make sure that there are no legal workers hired anywhere, especially on farms? And do you really believe that you could replace those illegal immigrants with American teenagers working in the field?
Oh, my whole life, that's what we did. My dad hired American teenagers in my life. So to say that this can't be done, my God, it was done through all the generations up until now. Sealing the border, I talked to border patrol agents that said that they've been capturing some ISIS returning people to the United States. The border absolutely should be secured for the safety of the American people, if nothing else.
Well, yeah, I'll agree with that. Absolutely, that's a downward pressure on jobs, especially the lower level jobs. No doubt about that. But on the right side, let's go like this. If it's $9 an hour in California, what if we raise it to 18? Will people start to come back out, the kids you're talking about?
My son was told we're going with illegal labor because it's cheaper. Our competitors can get rid of any benefits, anything. That's massacring the working class.
That's right. Now, like, that's big corporations, because when I worked in that slaughterhouse, right, $7.70 an hour, and you got nothing. And yeah, it was packed with Latinos and prison labor and people on the last chance, right? The Green Bay Packers, a meat packer, a slaughterhouse, Hormel was up there in the 80s paying $18 an hour and benefits. So we got this whole global deal going on. So when I'm saying, like, for some on the right, some Republicans, get them out. Other Republicans, the big corporate farms, bring them in.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
We're all sitting at home like we don't know what to make of you, man.
That's where a lot of the money is coming from, corporate dollars to want to open the border to get the labor force.
But I'm not going to hate. I'm not, because we did a story earlier this year about NAFTA, and NAFTA ruined the Mexican farmer, and they all have middle-class people in Mexico landless now.
Why don't you just let the market decide? I mean, if you
this is what the market gets you, bro.
So $9 an hour, and that's what it is. And people, and apparently in your story, as I understand it, they said everyone American come out and do this job. And how many people?
Wait,
11.
Before you think that story's there, no, be all the story's supposed to do is start this conversation right now.
But
the markets are manipulated. He's making a point.
But I don't know many teenagers, I'm sorry, who would go in the fields and pick grapes for 10 hours a day for $9 an hour. They might flip burgers for that money, but they're not going to go in the grapes.
From morning till night, and all the neighborhood kids came over and pitched morning.
Could you still do that today?
Could
you still do that today?
My son could. Yeah, I'm a little older.
So if the state of Michigan then passed a law that guaranteed a certain minimum wage for anybody who worked in the fields, would that then attract the kind of American worker that you hope to?
But I think we're missing the point over here. You're telling me that, if I understand the theory here, no illegal immigrant can do a job in Oakland County, apparently, right?
Correct.
Okay. So if no one will do the job for $9 an hour, no American, you saying you're going to get Americans to do the job in Oakland County? Would that work in California? Would that work anywhere?
Let's go like let's.
I mean,
yes. Let's go like this. To be honest, in the only time we ever really ran anybody off, illegals off the farms, was in the 30s. The braceros, the arms, right? Because the Okies needed the jobs. Okay. The Okies needed the jobs. Now we have things like welfare and food stamps and the GA, and it's easy to sit back.
Well, you know what? It is a difficult problem. I'll let you conclude this discussion. Go ahead.
Yes, and actually, my great-grandfather came as a bracero in the 40s during World War II, and we've had roots here in the U.S. since then. And I wanted to point out that the comprehensive immigration reform bill that's being proposed by the Senate would actually allow immigrants to take part in our society and fully integrate, which would actually raise wages for all Americans.
And that indeed may be a solution.
That's going to die at the end of the year.
Republicans and Democrats can
It's going to die at the end of the year if it doesn't come up for a vote in the House.
Well,
so
it may
that's
not.
gone,
We'll
man. Forget about it.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Yeah.
We'll continue this discussion later. You know, while some complain about illegal immigration, other Americans are busy finding ways to get out of work. So what is your excuse? Charlie Langton takes that question on the road.